So, first of all, I've got to read off a chairman's statement again. So I'll read it out with what I've written. I regret to say that this is the second consecutive monthly meeting I've had to announce that another parish councillor has resigned, and a former chairman and councillor, Mr. Chris Leedham, has resigned for personal reasons. I regret him leaving. He was an enthusiastic member of our team. He contributed greatly, many ideas and some suggestions over his 3-year stint here. I'm aware that both former councillors who have resigned that they were rather unhappy at the council meetings being filmed and the video appearing on a major website within the internet. However, the new rules on open local government now apply, which means parishioners can, if they so wish, film and record all public meetings. Could I add that all your parish councillors are unpaid, they don't receive any expenses, and they give their time freely. They're not all retired, and are involved often inspecting playgrounds to reporting road surface problems. They've organised meetings about flood control, also local planning, as well as attending monthly meetings. They also, from time to time, undertake odd training days and attend meetings at ESBC and county council level, and at times speak at them on Marchington's behalf. Actually, that's yours truly. I think we need some time for the dust to settle down, and the coming elections next May make it pointless to replace those two councillors until that time. We've lost our only councillor representing Forestside, and we'd love to hear from anyone there who would like to represent those residents from May of next year. Thank you, and now we'll get on with the meeting. Starting with the minutes.
Oh, yes.
No, so, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't got an agenda, unfortunately.
Any apologies?
Do we have any? None?
Minutes.
Minutes. Right. Does everybody agree with these minutes as they've been outlined?
Yep.
Yeah, from the 18th of November?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
I'll second.
So on that basis, I'll sign these minutes, okay.
not those ones.
Not these ones? Why, you've got some special ones?
Yes. Ones that you've got later.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sign very quickly.
Yeah. Chance. Nice. Right. That gets rid of that. And these other ones, of course, are different.
Yes, they've got the updates on.
Right. Okay. So, do you want those back?
No.
Oh, I'm keeping that. Thank you. Oh, yes, because I didn't have them printed. Okay. Matters arising from the last meeting.
No, so
Minutes.
No.
So,
Certainly.
You have that one, right? I'll show you that.
okay, thank you. Silver name, what is that?
Due to report.
Right. Well, there is a metal gate which goes into the football ground, which apparently is somewhat bent, and I looked at it on Sunday, along with Steve's here. Where has he gone? He's there. And we thought that it really needed a little bit of work. Got a photograph here which shows that the bolts holding the gate are actually they're extended far, so that they're actually up to the top. So in actual fact, the gate can be actually heightened. And we thank you for your report, Jeannie. note of the rubber hand of Roxby there needs a new handle, and I'll take the picture of it.
Robert, would you like a copy?
No.
Right, moving on, we've got Forestside. We've had another inspection done, haven't we?
Yes, I'm inspecting Forestside. All was in order, just very muddy.
Does that include a football pitch?
Football pitch looked okay.
Oh, really?
Less muddy than the ground.
Okay. Do you want us to move on to Green Lane, or because I don't suppose anything's been done there? No.
No.
Okay. Your seeds, perhaps we should buy some in readiness for the spring.
Yeah.
Plants amongst the
I have
overgrown
got
wheat.
some that I got free with something I was holding on to, so I could put those on for you.
And you can scatter the seeds.
That's right, yeah.
Right. So, highway matters, best kept sign, page 2012, now been replaced.
Good to see.
Yes.
Neighbourhood highway teams.
I reported the cobbles to Staffordshire County Council
Okay, that's
that
Yeah.
Richard asked me to do last
Right.
night.
That house fell off.
Okay.
of course you almost sue somebody, I don't know who. I hope the lady's not hurt in any way, is she? She didn't notice that. Sorry.
Excuse me, Jan, the cutting of the hedges and things around the side, they've done some of that, but what they didn't do was clean the sides. Because with the vegetation going around them.
That's another person's job, he obviously wasn't
Yeah,
there.
I appreciate it, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, they did. She let me know that they did cut the signs.
Yeah, but the vegetation growing around them, and they're all, especially that crossroads.
Okay. Do you want me to ask him?
I'll be quicker with a bucket.
Well, I might, in my own time, I might do it.
Oh, no.
Good man, good man.
Volunteers always accepted. We've now got a new lady, as we all know, for the police, who's PC Josie Shepherd.
Oh, hang on, someone else trying to get in. Because I forgot my keys, but
You've got them now, then?
it can be unlocked now.
Let's leave it on.
No, it's a ghost. The wind goes.
The wind is getting up.
Well, it's not the ghost of Christmas past because it hasn't arrived yet. Right. So we know that PC Josie Shepherd will eventually, presumably, come to one of our meetings.
Yeah,
Has anyone met her?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I know. She's very nice.
Naturally. Prison liaison meeting. Do we have a date for that somebody can
We have.
agree to?
Sorry. Move you over. Yeah. We have several dates.
Or January, I hope.
Presumably, Chairman, we'll need more people to go to that.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
The 8th, the 15th, the 20th, the 21st and the 22nd of January
Unavailable dates.
are available dates.
Can you tell me what days they're please?
Yes, I can.
Has anyone got one of those wonderful diaries that we write important things like dental appointments or reappointments, depending on how the problems are. I'm glad you made the coffee, otherwise I think I'm dogging.
The 8th is a Thursday,
God.
15th is a Thursday, 20th is Tuesday, 21st Wednesday and 22nd Thursday.
I think latter in the month, I think, to give us all a bit of a rest because we've got these 2 days, one after the other in the start, 9th, is it, of January? We've got the meeting on the, no, what do you mean?
12th and 13th.
Yeah, 12th and 13th. So I think that 21st or the 22nd, can anyone join me going to that, the prison meeting? Would you come? Oh, that would be great, thank you very much. Anybody else like to put their hand up? No?
I'll come if you really want somebody else.
Well, the more the merrier.
More the merrier. Okay, 21st, right?
21st with you?
Well,
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
Johnny. Okay, so
21st.
No.
No, but we could invite them, but they never turn up, to be honest, which is a...
She invites them.
She does? Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. So we said the
So it's-
22nd, yeah.
It's Paul
The
and
21st, let's see.
Ryan.
Sorry, wait a minute, what date did we agree?
You just said the 21st,
No, 21st, yes, sorry.
which is a Wednesday.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay.
And Andrew.
And Andrew. Okay.
So that's done.
Would you mind sending me an email?
Yes, a
If you would
reminder.
like the event.
I'll go back, yes,
A reminder.
it would be nice, yes.
Yeah.
I want to say, we'll have to discuss it.
As soon as we get older, Linda, we need you see, because our memories start to...
And mine is,
Mine do anyway. Anyway, the land at Marchington Woodlands, I don't suppose you've heard any more about that.
yes, we had an email today from, I chased him up again today. He sent me an email back today. So if you want to read the email.
Oh. Having already had the number of vehicles moved off the highway by the resident, I'm continuing to work with the Borough Council, who are currently progressing the waste issue at a number of the locations in the area. Following the outcome and conclusion of that process, the remaining items within that highway will be progressed. I'm sure the parish appreciate there are a number of elements that need to be addressed through the correct procedures, and all agencies to jump in at once will only cause confusion at this stage. If you could reassure the parish that with the full support of Councillor Atkins, the matter remains a priority for us all. Isn't that nice? Yes.
So who's the email from?
It's a charming chap who I assume is a man, Chris Mitchell,
Yeah.
From
Community Infrastructure Liaison Manager, Staffordshire County Council. So it seems to be progressing, it would seem.
Say, after all these years, something's been done.
Yeah. See what happens when Councillor Atkins pulled his finger out 10 months ago.
Yes, I would say priority
Sounds
meetings
good.
sold next month.
No, that's true. Take another 5 years.
Excuse me, Chairman, can I make a point of order?
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Last weekend, I was accosted in the Red Lion in Newbury.
Were you?
Yes, because the resident we were referring to
Right.
appears to bring everything and dump it there, and then when they give notice that they're coming to inspect, carts it all off again. So if you care to drive around the Woodlands, you'll see that there is actually nothing, or not a great deal has changed.
Can
You
you...
must be Bruce for a day.
Yeah. It seems to be that he moves stuff off when he's aware they're coming, like, we'll come back in 10 days.
Yeah.
So for 9 days,
Mm.
there's rubbish there, and then the 10th day, mysteriously, it's gone.
11
So
days
then it
back.
comes
And
back
yeah, and
again.
then it comes back again. Because
You want to tell them this?
Why don't we... Is there any chance you can take a photograph?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
day one, nothing. Day two, something.
Yeah.
Is that feasible?
Yeah.
And then we can simply send it off to
Yeah.
Mr. Mitchell, and maybe he can take that issue up with him. I can't imagine all the effort to go and take away a load of junk and then bring it back again.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well,
But he's bought a new Land Rover, so that's always a bad sign, because he has to buy several to repair the one that's going. So
When you say new, you mean another?
oh yeah, I mean another one, yeah. Yeah.
well,
Right.
well, we'll give him the virtuous idea of moving things around, I suppose. Obviously a tidy up job from time to time.
But at least he's paying attention, so
Yes, that's true, and we're getting some efforts from Mr. Atkins and Mr. Mitchell. Now, the BMX skateboard, Richard.
Thank you.
Track.
Right, well,
On track?
I did receive today quite a lot of information. I think it sent you a copy from,
You did, yes.
from the insurance company. And that opens a whole lot of other can of worms.
Rotten apples, right, okay.
I've only sort of scanned it at the minute, but whereas if you have purpose-built equipment, obviously it's built to the standard, etc., but even though it might be only a few parts of it, it's a bespoke design, so you then have to get the design approved and done.
well, how did you
I used Mac, I think. who worked on the other equipment
I
for
think they did it all in
Whitstead.
one go, didn't
No,
they?
no, I think it was done as an add-on.
Yeah.
But Mac seemed to be groundwork specialists in children's play areas. So it might be worth having a word with somebody that does that type of work. I mean, obviously, Mac is one, but there must be others, and just see what their advice is.
I had a word with them actually, a long time back, when this came up. This is the Mac that's in New Toxeter.
Yeah.
I had a word with them and they seemed rather expensive. They started talking about thousands.
I don't know. Well, if you want something that's designed and done to a standard, then it isn't going to be cheap.
So on that basis, would you perhaps ring Mac and any other associate companies and see what they say? You've got a plan, have you, actually, to do this? You know, it's going to go in
Of sorts, yes.
so. Richard, you give me confidence. Right. So we'll wait on issues on that one.
I know it's a bit late in the day, but is there any second-hand equipment that larger cities are taking out? And
I think we've looked and
yeah, I just wondered.
yeah.
New Toxeter, perhaps. No, they won't, because they're actually they're going to plant something like about. I think it's how many houses is it? Am I thinking of 100 houses in New Toxeter?
More than that.
150, 200 on that side.
That's about 1,000, 2,000 houses.
Oh, wow.
2,000?
Yeah, it's usually 900, I think it's. I don't know what the five.
No, I think I know you got about 700 as I first top of Bird's Lane going down to the JCB factory.
700.
But then you've got Roycroft, which is Bob Barker's field. I thought it was about 150 to go up there.
Possibly. Then there's 700 on land west of Utoxeter. There's the JCB site, and then there's the site down near the station as well. And some site off is it Dubway, where you go over to Roaster on the left-hand side, which is part owned by the Borough Council and part by a developer.
So they may need all their play equipment for themselves.
And more.
And more, yes.
That's the only other thing that's crossed my mind is that if we do end up accepting a sizable sort of housing development, and we can tack it on to the end of
Yes,
that as
a sort of 106.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, then it might not even be in the playing field, would it?
No. They may have built on it. No, I joke.
What you wish for.
Yes.
True, very true. Best kept village. We've gone over that, so we'll move on. Marchington Village Hall Committee.
Right, well I have some good news.
Jolly good.
We've had a £1,000 grant from Philip Atkins the last couple of a week, I think, a week ago.
I take it all back, Mr. Atkins.
And was it 3,200 that we got from Staffordshire Community Council?
Kathy Russell, yes.
How much? 2,000?
3,200.
3,200.
It was at the end of the pot. Wendy's done sterling work, actually, Wendy Scott,
Yeah,
getting
good.
this. So, and these are specifically for the doors that Andrew has done all the work for.
It's the doors and the front windows to the toilets.
Oh, right.
So
Renewing
that-
those.
The windows not into the toilet, just the doors, hopefully.
The external windows
Yeah.
and the external front door.
Right.
So that should be
In the early in the new year.
Oh, right. Okay. So that takes
Well,
care
they'll
of that.
start.
Good
Yes,
news, good news.
Yeah, so that would be really good. And then the next phase will be the canopy. But we, until we've got the doors in,
Yeah.
we'll think of the canopy.
And if and when we...
Do you have the cost for the canopy?
Not yet. No, a broad brush. We put in a broad brush about 15,000 for the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's very broad brush and not truly costed yet.
Good. Brilliant.
So
Anything else
that
on
is
that
good
one?
news. No, I don't think so. The last meeting, we just really were talking about possibility of getting grants, but now we've actually got them.
Yeah.
Got it, so we've got
Well, other village halls in the neighbourhood have received grants, so it's
About time, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Or your time, shall we say?
Our time is come.
That time.
But you'll need some more significant grants for the 15,000 at the front end.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which we're hoping you might get if the solar plant goes ahead.
exactly.
Right. Neighbourhood plan, which we're doing. We're meeting on the 5th of January, is it? No.
The next steering group is on the 5th of Jan.
Mm.
We've got the road shows on the 12th of December
Yeah,
at
which is on Thursday.
here and also at Marchington Woodlands.
The 11th.
Sorry, the 11th of December.
It's nice today, isn't it?
On Thursday, yes, sorry, the 11th.
What time is that? I know you said
They're in the afternoon here and then go up to the Woodlands. I think it's 3 here and
right, okay.
5 up at the Woodlands. All the newsletters have been delivered. A lot of the questionnaires are coming back. I think I've got about 28 up to now
Good.
that have come back. The signs is saying, you know, people want the parish to do something. So that's a good sign. We'll see what you know, response comes in from the roadshow.
I think the shop is being used as a repository. It's
Yes, I've collected some from there already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll collect another load when I'm back in the village.
I hope all your councillors are going to fill in.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, indeed,
Right. Emergency plan, well, that continues to stay on the minutes issues. Moving on to flooding issues, do we have anything to say about that, Councillor Mann? Training session?
Nothing new, yeah.
No?
I'm just about to supplement your aquasacs with some more, hopefully.
Oh, good.
If a decision is made tonight with my lost money,
Oh, brilliant.
there'll be substantially more aquasacs in the village. So the old and those that are, what's the name, can pick up the bags, old and infirm, can have the bags, and it's not like lugging great sandbags about. So hopefully,
So they'll be down at William Wainwright's?
yeah, I assume so. I mean, I'm going to hand them to the flooding group, but
Right.
for them to.
Actually, it's interesting that you said that, Robert, because I went down to William Wainwright. There are 4 bags, that's all, and they're disintegrating.
What for made-up bags?
Made-up bags. I
Yeah.
couldn't find any other bags. And the
Not
amount...
in the shop or upstairs?
No, I went into the shop and they knew nothing. The only ones they knew were there.
Somebody did locate them somewhere in are they in a shed or?
I don't know. When I asked Peter, I actually spoke to Peter about them.
Yeah.
I think I put there are bags, and he said there's
Peter Wainwright.
Yeah.
Peter Wainwright, yeah, actually spoke to him.
So where are they if they needed in emergency? Do we know?
We need to check that out
Yeah,
and
he
make
said
sure
they're
they
on
are.
site now.
Right.
whether-
We'll find out what that means.
Yes.
Because the amount of sand there is about enough, I've put it on here, there's about a sand enough to fill about 10, 12 bags, that's all.
Oh, that's
Is that all?
That's all. If it's kept in the sort of corner next door to the
Yeah,
breeze block wall, then that's all that's there with a shovel stuck in it. So I assume that was...
that was.
The right back of the shop.
That's right, as you go around the back.
That's what I understood, there's that sand there.
Yeah, so there's not very much, so it really needs about another couple of...
You're going to top on?
Yes, I think so. If we could ask for another couple of ton bags, I think. Well, I'll tell you what, have a word with Peter Wright first, because I'm not too sure there's that... Oh, I don't know, it could go there. But you better ask him whether he's happy to have a couple of...
Well, how many
Do you still
aqua
need
bags
with your
have you
aqua
got
bags?
Well, it's whatever they can negotiate. I mean, I've offered them £400, so I think, was it?
They got them for £3, haven't we, or something like that?
Yeah, 350. But I mean, if you buy
in bulk?
in bulk, hopefully they'll negotiate a best price.
Well, they got it down from £5 to £3.50 before, so I don't know whether they're getting more.
I mean, that money's there and...
It's there anyway.
We'll
So
work on
you're going to
it.
present that to the flood committee at the next
Yeah.
meeting. That's great. Well, thank you very
Well,
much.
that's assuming that the burgers at East Borough Council approved my submission.
Of course, we're all in the hands of other people, aren't we?
So do you need sand or not?
We do, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What
very wise.
I'm worried about is it's all right ordering, but how much do those bags take? About 2 tonne? Tonne. So I'm just wondering whether there's enough room to put 2 tonne. That's what I'm concerned
There
about.
needs to be a discussion with Peter Wainwright.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
Having a
also,
discussion with Peter, of course, is always not that easy, actually, because
We can do that.
Oh, do it.
yeah,
could I also suggest that you establish where these Hessian sacks are?
Yes.
Because I would imagine, although the flooding group are responsible, taking over a lot of responsibility for looking at those issues, I think it would be useful that the parish council are aware where they are, and somebody in the flooding group knows where they are.
yeah,
Because
that's
when they're needed,
Yes.
we don't.
Hopefully those in the flooding group do know where they are.
But it needs to be established.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they need it tomorrow when we do.
no, not really, especially if you go hunting for the key for the shed that we may think they're in. So I think we ought to define that. So you're going to organise that?
Well, I will speak with Peter Wainwright and ascertain what there is.
Yeah.
And then I will notify Linda and take action from there as to whether if you need more sand. And I'll ascertain whether Peter's got space for more sand.
Exactly.
And the sacks.
And the
Sacks,
sand.
yeah. Because the only sacks I could find were the ones that the lady in the shop showed me, and she didn't know any more. And I said one of them disintegrating. Right, moving on. Defibrillator, Mr. Ford.
Yes, we were talking about a cabinet. This
Yes.
is a heating cabinet, we're going to put one outside. They're 400 quid.
Wow,
With
really?
an alarm on and a,
Oh, right.
a digital lock as well if you want to lock it, although that wouldn't really work with it.
What's it going to be quick?
No.
A bit like the sandbags, we're looking for the key.
And obviously electrical supply to it as well.
Okay. Right, so that makes a decision, does it?
Is that
No,
fitting?
that's
So we've got to get a price for fitting.
Is that something that our local handyman can do, do you think, or is it more complicated? Do we have to have it?
Electricity will be a fully qualified electrician.
We could ask the electrician we get to do the other work in the village shop, in the village hall to give a price to that.
In fact, it would be best if the village hall committee dealt with that in a sense, because otherwise, if somebody comes along and starts sticking it somewhere we don't want it, it's going to be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
I know it's adding responsibility to the village hall, but
Especially if you're
well,
going
not only the fitting of it, not anything else.
And where it's going, etc.
Well, exactly. I mean, do you put it inside for safety reasons, or is it
No,
going
It's
to
the outside for accessibility, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's got to have, did you say it's got to have an alarm? It
It's
will have
got an alarm built into the cabinet,
Right.
because this is a cabinet mounted outside, that's why it's heated to keep its battery from going too cold.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. And who's going to pay for that? Is this parish council?
Well, I assume this is from the Heart Foundation people, is it, that we're purchasing this because it's a low price?
The defibrillator is supplied by the Sharp Foundation, the cabinet, so we have to sort out ourselves.
Oh, right. Okay. So what do you think, you said that the cabinet is £400. The defibrillator is what? Also another £400.
£400 donation to the Sharp Foundation, yeah.
So that's 800, and then we've got to attach it to a wall somewhere.
And source
Electricity.
electricity.
And source of electricity.
Thousands to drive up, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of touch, isn't it? Anyone want to go around the table a decision, or do you want to leave it to another month?
What should we find out just how much it's going to cost and why the thing goes?
Yeah.
Because there's also the running cost, because the village is going to have to.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're going to have to contribute to that, presumably, because these heaters.
Could you get us a written estimate, Richard?
Well, yeah, so we want to know how much approximately how much it costs to run it
Fixing.
and then fixing.
Okay. We'll see what I can find out. The other bit about getting training for to sort of
For the use of.
Use it.
well, not so much the use of, but the Sharp Foundation sort of do this on the basis that you would have some people trained in CPR, so somebody's doing CPR while somebody else runs off to get the defibrillator. When I got through the form to the bit where it said contact your local ambulance service, I emailed the West Midlands Ambulance Service twice, which I did get an email back to say, ring Matthew, somebody on this number, and I've rung him twice, and I only get his answering machine, so that's as far as I've got with it.
So presumably you left a message, ring me back, and you haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps he's on holidays.
Okay. I'll carry on with that one.
If you would please.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea, basically, what you're doing there, Richard, but as has been suggested, we need to know an exact cost. Right. Well, the planning we've dealt with, have we not?
Yeah, you go down to the streets and the stones have been down.
You mentioned that, though, didn't you? The
Yeah.
stones outside Porter's Court.
Yeah, they
reported it to them.
reported, yeah.
They're going to come and look at it, presumably, in a good time.
Yeah.
The Silver Lane Bollard. Aha. Oh, yes. Mr. Langston would be interested in it.
Yes, yes.
Do you want to tell us about what you discovered on
Yeah.
price and
Yeah, I mean-
what it actually means? Because we're talking about the height barrier, aren't we?
Yeah. What we would like is to reinstate the height barrier.
Who's we?
Myself, Sue Grimley, and well, possibly other residents in the lane.
So it's just two so far.
Maxwell.
That's still we.
Three.
We.
Okay.
We would like to reinstate the use of the height restriction bar,
Yeah.
rather than primarily use the bollard as a method of preventing travellers from accessing the playing fields. The bollard's caused a few problems over the few months that it's been installed, with regards to increased vehicles in Silver Lane, but also it discriminates against people with who have impaired mobility or disabilities, because they can't park their cars near to the community facilities that are on the playing fields, such as the picnicking area and the children's play area. And it also prevents access that parishioners used to enjoy when they'd be able to park their vehicle near the football pitch or be up by the children's play area or by the picnicking area, so they wouldn't have to lug their luggage the 200 or 300 yards it is to the picnic area. So it's causing a few issues, and what we would like to do is to re-secure the height restriction bar and drop the bollard in the mornings and lift it in the evenings, which I'll be quite happy to do that. I spoke to Bentley Fab, a metal fabrication company in Fold, and they met me at the gate yesterday and had a look at the high restriction bar, and I asked them if they could secure it, and they said it can be easily secured, and they gave me a price of £220 including VAT. This would create a heavy-duty box over a new padlock.
Are they experts in security?
Yes, in gates, yes they are. So they'll put a metal plate, a box over a new padlock. They'll provide a padlock as well, which will prevent the padlock being accessed by travellers or whoever may want to try and defeat the height restriction bar. Also the hinge on the other side, which is literally, I'm surprised the travellers haven't just lifted it off the hinge, because it doesn't seem to be secured in any way.
There's no nut on the top, or
no, he's just hooked onto it. He said that could easily be secured by turning the top hinge around, or welding a washer on the top so it couldn't be lifted off. It just, by doing this, it will then resolve all of the issues that we're having in the lane with increased parking by the entrance when football teams, big footballers are arriving when there's a football match being played, and the gate, the bollard is not dropped in time for all of the footballers to have the opportunity to park on the field. And as you saw on Sunday, Graham, vehicles parked by the gate, and then the chap comes and he's got the key, drops the bollard, but they just leave the cars by the gate or further on down the lane. And on the occasions when there are football teams coming who haven't got a key, they just park in the lane, using the lane as car park. So by dropping the bollard in the mornings and securing the height restriction bar, it will resolve all these issues, including the discrimination against disabled people who may want to use it for a community facility.
That's a serious accusation you're making, that the parish council is discriminating, and really, what part of the DDA are you basing?
I'm referring to the Equality Act of 2010, which gives people with protected characteristic the rights to be able to access for community facilities of any type. And local authorities that include parish councils have got to make reasonable adjustments to allow a person who has a physical disability to be able to access facilities that an able-bodied person would, as much as reasonably practical.
There is a kissing gate.
There's also, you go up the side of the bollard.
Yeah. There's a kissing gate higher up, but Steve, if the bollard is in place and the gate is not locked, there's no hindrance to anybody, disabled people, being wheeled through. The barrier was installed at the advice of the police to keep the travellers out. Erecting it at night, rather than the daytime, is useless in terms of keeping the travellers off. It needs to be up and put down when required, say, for football matches.
So the
you have
bollard,
a key, you could drop it at the appropriate time.
The bollard was put there on the advice of a security expert, not on the advice of somebody who would be able to advise with regards to making sure that the decision the parish council make regarding a bollard or blocking that access is actually inclusive to people who've got disabilities.
If the gate is open and the bollard is up, what is the access restriction?
Some people with disabilities
have plenty of space there.
Some
the
people
bar in the middle.
Some people with disabilities have a special vehicle and they have a wheelchair or...
There's enough room either
side. There's enough room for either side for the vehicle to get in.
The vehicle can't get in either side. A wheelchair can, yes. That's assuming that an individual has a carer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just coming back to the whole point that we're talking about reasonable adjustments. And if a disability impact assessment was completed at the time the bollard decision was made, then we wouldn't have had the bollard installed, because there's no reason why the height...
We'll get one done now. I don't think it's going to be a problem. We'll get one done now.
What's that?
Disability access.
Yes.
We'll get one done.
Yes.
We'll get one done, Steve.
Yes.
The barrier, I insist, the barrier needs to be up in the daytime, apart from when access is required for football matches, etc. If you have a key, you could make it open at the appropriate time.
So, let's just compare this with...
Let's be clear. If we get travellers on that side, it's going to cost us a couple of £1,000 to get them off.
Can I just say, how are travellers going to get onto the site with a secure height restriction bar? I mean, you've just had installed at the church car park a height restriction barrier to prevent travellers going on there. So if it's good enough for the church car park, why is it not good enough for a community facility?
We are told that travellers do not use church car parks. That was a defence, but we're told that they do not. There's no experience of them using church car parks.
We've taken advice and we've got a bollard up.
You've taken security advice.
Yeah, to stop people going...
Yes, to stop people, exactly. You're stopping people, not just caravans and travellers.
You meant travellers.
I don't mean people as individuals.
Well, you are stopping people with disabilities.
There's a kissing gate beside it.
And there's access either side.
Yes, you're assuming that an individual...
As Gordon said, well, if we have an accessibility...
We'll have an access disability.
Yeah.
If you have a disability access, a disability disability impact assessment.
Is there a disability expert within ESBC to come and advise us on this?
Okay.
I suggest that we get him out.
Excellent.
And take those recommendations, and he'll know all about DDA regulations and everything.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he says it's okay.
That's it.
The real issue here really is on a Sunday morning only, isn't it?
There are a number of issues.
The
football is, footballers arriving, and the bollard not being dropped in time causes a build-up of vehicles in the lane.
So if you were to go up there before, if I can interrupt, if you were to go up there and had a key and put it down appropriately, at least an hour and a half before these chaps came along, that would end the problem. The next thing is, we haven't heard from Mrs. Grimley actually. Did you like to give us your ideas?
I think it's the problem arises from unknown teams that come to play, not just necessarily on the Sunday, Saturday. They're travelling quite a few miles, and the people just don't know to drop the bollard. And then when they arrive, I mean, names of addresses and that don't mean anything to people coming from Belper, etc.
If we put a sign up which simply said, footballers, please park on the field and not in the lane, or not to annoy residents, or something of that nature, would that not help a little?
I can't see why, for £220, we do away with the bollard during the day. The height restriction bar will do what it's designed to do and stop caravans getting onto the site. It's simple and it's a reasonable request.
Yes, I think that, well, I suppose increased security is...
But we've already got a bollard. It appears to be working. Why do we have to spend another £200+?
Because you're discriminating against disabled people.
But we're going to find that out. You can't sit there and keep saying that to us. That's not fair.
Parishioners also, who used to have access, are unable to access.
We've not had, as a council, anybody from the parish saying that they've not had access to, because they can't walk around the bollard.
I mean,
apart from yourselves.
It's whether somebody could move into the village who has...
They haven't done that, so let's not pretend somebody with an elephant could walk in, but they haven't yet, so let's not guess who's coming in.
Okay. I think we'd rather like to try to resolve this a little bit. So we're going to check with the disability office. I wasn't at this meeting on site, but was the PC Bolter involved as well as the chap from...
PC Bolter recommended a crime prevention officer called Simon O'Brien, who came out and spoke to Gordon and myself. He looked at all the gate, the access and everything, and recommended that the bollard was put there.
It's an ideal solution for securing it against all vehicles, unless you've got exclusive access like football teams have, or you've personally got a key. So you're securing the field. It does its job, but a security expert is not necessarily the right person to be talking to.
He was a crime prevention officer, not a security expert.
Well,
Steve.
that's
he
why
was a crime prevention
I was
officer.
told by yourself that he was a security
you were told
expert.
he was a crime prevention officer.
Yes. Well,
thank you.
Not by yourself, but anyway.
I emailed you and told you it was a crime prevention officer.
No, I don't believe so. But however...
well, you're being told now that it was a crime prevention.
Yes. However, it's about preventing crimes. That person is expert in preventing access by criminals to that playing area, but not an expert in making sure that it's the decision that's made doesn't discriminate against other people who have got mobility issues.
With respect, that would be part of his job.
I wouldn't have thought so, but...
I would think so. Oh, we're going to get it checked over on.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that, as Mrs. Grimley has pointed out, that most of these problems are on a Sunday, yeah?
Sunday's not as bad as Saturdays or any other day in the holiday, when there are teams who visit who are not necessarily local teams, who've got their system.
I thought that the football pitch was for the football team of Marchington. I didn't realise it was...
There's away teams as well, isn't it?
Yes, coming in, but surely the football team knows Marchington football team, that these teams are coming, and there's a certain amount of responsibility for them to make sure that they accommodate their visitors.
Well, I think then Stan Maxwell, who maintains the pitch, knows who's coming because he's not allowing the Keep Fan Club to use the pitch in the summer. So presumably Stan must know when people are coming and can arrange for the barricade down. I don't think anyone would just arrive without approval.
He was given one. Originally, he was given one.
The only person who has a key in Silver Lane at the moment is Mr Gibbs, John Gibbs. That's all. Now, Mr Gibbs is... no, Stan Maxwell does because his brother gave him the key. Is that not correct, Brian?
That's up.
And now it's gone to his brother. And there seems to be some brotherly dispute.
I gave one to Stan Maxwell originally.
Oh, so he's got... Where's this key that Brian had then? Where's that gone?
Brian never had one. Stan was given one originally.
Oh, well, that's confusion on my part then, talking to Brian Maxwell, because he
Brian was never involved in it.
No, he was probably talking about the key to the gate, probably, but not the... Which reminds me, because apparently according to Mr Gibbs, this Mr Maxwell locks the gates as well. How true is that?
Yes, he takes that upon himself to lock the
Takes
gate.
himself, so at night you've got the gate locked and you've got the overhead apparatus locked.
And the barrier.
And the barrier. And as I put in an email to somebody, it's like Colgate's at night, I would have thought. So if it's the desire to keep people out, it's doing a good job.
So, I mean, the height restriction bar, if it was secure, it would prevent travellers getting on. We don't need the bollard at all. However, if we use the bollard, we've spent £700 on a bollard, we may as well use it and lift it in the evenings and drop it in the mornings. There'll be no restriction of access to it.
Nothing at night though, Steve. It needs to be up in the daytime, unless...
Why does it need to be up in the daytime?
Because you can get fly tipping on there, somebody coming with a local van.
Yeah, but you've got a height restriction bar that's secured.
You're still getting with the car.
People. The height restriction's got to be a minimum of 7 foot to get things like four-wheel drive vehicles on there.
To resolve this quickly, Chairman, surely we could just write to the football club saying...
Well, that's what I was trying to get at, because they seem to be the problem.
With a few of the local residents down Silver Lane, so please can you see that when there's away teams, or when there's local teams, or whomever else plays there, that the bollard is dropped.
Can we not add a notice that goes up saying footballers park on the field?
We do that.
Yeah.
Would that not be...
That would be the simple.
Then this business of Mr Grimm is making about the away teams coming along, and if the bollard...
There's always going to be somebody who's there early or somebody there. So if we just write a letter saying this is caused, last time when it wasn't mowed quickly enough, they soon...
Because I think, Steve, you said that the problem was that, was it you or Mr Maxwell, I'm not sure, but one of you said that the big problem was that the people from the ball, whoever it was, didn't turn up on time, and that's why people were parking in the lane, because they were arriving early.
The ball has nothing to do with unlocking the gate.
Does it not? Not Stan
The
Maxwell.
manager of the team,
I'm talking to Stan Maxwell, I'm talking about, really. I thought he was managing the whole thing.
Ian Morgan is the chairman of the cricket club. Have a word with Ian Morgan. This is talking to me.
Yes, I know Ian Morgan, yeah.
Whoever has the key with the football teams, they don't always arrive early enough, and I know that the football teams have been asked if they could arrive earlier, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Ian will sort this out.
Yeah, and surely a letter to them, because it's our pitch, and just explain to them there's an issue, and ask them to see if they can in future do that. That's not £200.
It doesn't resolve the issue regarding disability access.
If there is an issue.
If there is an issue, and we're going to get a...
Yes, if you could get a disability access impact assessment, I'm comparing before the bollard was fitted, how a disabled person...
they will decide that.
How a disabled person...
Well, these people are professional, qualified. It's their job to look at that and what the access is and what access. Nobody, and I don't believe that if somebody wanted to go onto that playing field, that they are being denied access, because by virtue of the fact that there's a bollard in the middle, you can get on either side. with a wheelchair or a mobility scooter, or
if you've got reduced mobility and you haven't got a wheelchair and you would like to use the picnic benches, you've got 300 yards to walk. Whereas before, you would have less than 100 yards.
Let's wait for this disability assessment.
To sum up,
a wheelchair is no more than 33 inches.
I'm not referring to a wheelchair getting past the bollard. I'm referring to a wheelchair or a person with impaired mobility being in a vehicle needing to get close to the community facilities that the parish council provides.
Well, they're only normally small, aren't they? I thought they're no more than 5 foot.
Yeah. We'll have this. Well, Robert, organise it.
yeah.
right, so basically, the best we can do, by the sounds of things, and I'll go around the table in a minute, but the thing is that we're talking about approaching the football people through Ian Morgan. I notice...
Well, I don't... Ian Morgan, I believe, is only responsible for the key factors, I believe.
No, football club. It's
Chairman.
Marchington Football FC.
Yeah.
Right.
But there is the manager of the football team. Is he the right person to speak to? But anyway.
I should go with Ian.
Brilliant.
Let me have a word with Ian Morgan, have a chat to him. The other thing that I propose is that a notice is put up clarifying that they need to go onto the football pitch to park, and not, and just a polite notice, not police, polite notice, simply saying that you must park on the...
Well, can we, excuse me,
Sure.
can we get the football team's opinion of what we've discussed tonight? Because we appear to be one-sided, saying it's a huge problem. Can we hear the football? There might be a genuine reason why, on a couple, 3 occasions, whatever, their cars are parked there. For somebody is ill, I don't know, but can we hear theirs and then come up and say, we'll put a sign in?
Well,
but certainly send them a letter.
I think it's got to be approached with a chat, hasn't it? Not
Or
a letter.
a meeting.
So, organise a meeting. What if I can organise a meeting? Perhaps we can get 1 or 2 people to come on to it, and then that can be thrashed out on. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, people have a right to park in Silver Lane, whether you like it or not. They have that's the end of the story. But what we can try to do is to try to persuade people to go into the place where they're not causing Mrs. Drimley or yourself, well, not your speech too far down, but Mr. Maxwell, for example. So if we can try and get that sort of rounded off, and then we can start talking about it again. But I think that the job is for me is to have a word with Ian Morgan, go on from there. I still think a notice is a good idea because people do take notice of them. I believe they can. Most of them can read.
And regarding the disability,
oh yes, and we've got to do the disability.
The impact assessment, comparing before the bollard with after the bollard. Who's will be doing that? Will you follow that up?
We're just having a disability assessment.
Yes.
A disability impact assessment.
Yeah. You want impact? Okay.
Yeah.
It's required by the Equality Act 2010.
Now,
Well,
Robert, can I pass that to you or not?
Well, I can set it up, but I will get the details, and I think it needs to be done formally from the parish council. But let me do the background work.
Right.
And
Just a name and a...
yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
That would be great. When we've done that, then we'll go on from there. Sorry, I can't be any more lightning rod on that one, I'm afraid, because obviously people around the table have got different opinions on the subject. Is there anything either two of you would like to raise apart from that?
The only thing I would like to say is that I think Henry Hall's done a great job at clearing the overgrown hawthorn hedge down Silver Lane. However, when you tidy one thing up, it shows up other issues. The fencing down that side from the new position of the second entrance into the playing field to the kissing gate is in particularly poor condition, and many of the posts are also rotted and really could do with a complete refresh.
This is
up to the
the post that enclose the playing fields, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But from the kissing gate.
Playing field of Silver Lane.
Yes, that's right, they enclose it there. So you're talking actually on Silver Lane itself, that's what.
Yeah, from The kissing gate to Maxwell's house
Yeah.
appears in pretty reasonable condition,
I
although
think he's done it himself, is not?
Henry's done some repairs on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
that looks all okay, but the bit that's now been exposed,
So basically from the entrance gate down a bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
from the second entrance.
I take it it's the posts that are rotten and not the actual.
The posts, and the rails, it
Yeah.
does need
That's
rails.
can you have a look at it?
And
Yeah.
regarding the gating to the playing fields, we saw the other day that it had become misshapen. Will the parish council just replace that gate? The top gate that we were looking at.
Well,
the height.
I think the problem with that, the gate's fine as it is, but what it's doing is, in fact I've got a photograph of it here.
Saggy.
You've got the bolts which are right at the top of their extreme, what do you call this, sliding bar area. If we were to drop it down the other way, it would raise the gate by about, I'd judge about 3 inches. And if we took away the soil, which is where the main post is, it would make it easier to close. So the combination should make it easier on both sides. And I think we can get Henry to do that. And shall I drop you a line, sort of projecting the idea of the 2 points so that we're clear on them?
I think the issue
I don't
with
think it's a
that
new
gate,
gate as such.
you see that gate has become malformed at the hinge.
It has
side.
got slightly at the
Yeah,
top.
I
But
suspect
that's
that people have just been climbing over the gate in order to, walk the dogs or whatever.
well,
and
yeah,
that's
because
what's
it's locked.
because it's locked in the evenings.
There is
I know it may be a silly question to ask why it's locked in the evening, but
Well, really, it shouldn't be because it is a right of way. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be locked at all.
is it a right of way?
It is.
Where's the kissing?
Yeah.
It's not a right of way.
It is a right of way. It's on the definitive map of Staffordshire County Council.
No, kissing gate.
The kissing gate that Mark Robinson referred to in his letter to me, and he said it's a permissive path from the gate that we're talking about now. I believe that is incorrect, but I think you need to contact Staffordshire County Council to.
Staffordshire County Council put the kissing gate in at the footpath entrance, so they put the kissing gate in the correct place.
They were requested to put it there by the parish council, I understand.
No, they said that's where it was.
I just double check the
It makes more sense, Steve,
Yes,
for it
if
to
you
be
talk to the footpath department of Staffordshire County Council, they'll tell you that is where the
Would you like me
footpath
to
is.
do that?
I'm quite happy to get them to write it to me, or you can do it
Yes,
yourself.
yeah, you can ask them to confirm where the footpath
Well,
is.
to be honest, if I remember right, the most sensible place to put it will probably be nearer towards this gate that we're talking
Well,
about.
that's
But the
okay.
thing is that I think we tried that, and I think they told us quite blank it was
They
in the wrong
told us
place.
that's where it was,
And
yes.
that's where it was going to go. So it wasn't a question of parish council saying where it went. It was the Footpaths Association along with the Staffordshire County.
I think that issue just needs to be clarified then,
Yeah.
where
So
the footpath is.
I'm afraid we're not guilty of that, is what I'm trying to say.
It's not an issue for the parish council.
We're not in charge of footpaths, entrances and so forth, or styles. So I hope we'll try to do our best for both of you as we can. I'm sorry you're having the trouble. This business of Saturdays confuses me because I had a word with Mr. Gibbs, John Gibbs that is. He tells me that they only play very occasionally on Saturdays, but you just said, I think, earlier on that there were quite a few games on Saturdays.
They do play on Saturdays, yes, and they're
Oh,
away,
yes, they do.
they're away teams. We don't really seem to know who's the organiser of these teams. We don't seem to know unless it's Steve Shaw.
But it is played on Saturdays. Some weekends, very
Some
rarely,
weekends.
it's Saturday and Sunday, but it's usually either a Saturday or a Sunday through the winter.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll have a word with Mr. Morgan, who's the chairman of the football club, and I'll ascertain whether there is anything to do with the Saturday ones as well. We'll do our best. But if you don't know who they are, it's difficult. We've got to start from that angle, I think. Okay, thank you very much.
Could I just ask before
Sure.
you move on about Silver Lane and the hedge going towards the main road? I know that you were pursuing about that being trimmed back. What's the progress on that, please?
Yes, I had an email from the neighbourhood highways team, and they said that it's on their list to come and do that.
Do you want me to read that? Or was it worth reading? There's not much there, is there?
Just to let you know, the hedge on Silver Lane is due to be cut by the tree surgeon contractors when they are next working in the area, and that was sent to me on the 21st of November.
Right, thank you.
Sometime in the next few months, hopefully.
Really good.
Right. Okay, so we've come to the end of the minutes side of things, so where do we go now? Planning, which we don't have very much.
Just
Any
the
more?
one. Which is
We would like to, that was what I thought that picture, we would like handy to remove that. You probably like that actually, it's a rather nice piece of
yes.
what's that? So you tell them to remove it, please, and also the netting.
Whereabouts is it?
It's very near to the playground itself. And
right.
it's also got a lot of netting hanging down, and if anyone goes poaching in the playing fields, they're likely to hang themselves. So if we could just avoid that.
Somebody camping there or something?
I don't know, but as I said, when I said bivouac, you looked at me oddly, but
I think it might well be a kids' den.
I think it's
more likely.
it's Tattoo of Napoleon bivouac thing. Right.
Fire approval.
Right, so this hasn't actually gone to oh, yes it has, yes, okay. So we got prior approval for the conversion of an agricultural building to form a dwelling, which is at Station Road, which I think we all know where it is.
It's John Brassington's farm.
Yeah. What would you like to say about that, ladies and gentlemen? Basically, we're having a barn which was built about 8 years ago, changed to residential use.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can really comment on it, but that is the way I think that things are going, and they can now turn on into
Yes, permitted development rights.
So we can't really object.
I think so, no.
So someone would assume that the Borough Council will go through whether or not it still has a need, because I think that's part of the process. So as long as they go through the process and prove that building is no longer required, then I think they'll get permitted development rights on that. So it's just...
But it doesn't affect anyone, does it?
No, it's down along a narrow lane at the bottom. I personally wouldn't like to stay down there with the trains going past every hour, but that's their choice, presumably. Perhaps they're deaf.
It's not as close as Station House.
No, it's next door to it.
It's next door.
Well, they could sell keys when the trains stop.
Yes, so this is a single dwelling with one bedroom, I think.
And a very small lounge.
Yeah, I don't want to give anybody ideas, but if you buy agricultural land and then wait 10 years and then convert it to a park, is that
So it is
It's
quite
existing
clear
for-
that it has been used because for farm use for so many years, something like that.
Yeah, big tractors in there.
okay. Right, we'll let the ESBC comment on that, I think, rather than give me an idea then.
Is that in the village boundaries? Does that count as a house?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
it's outside
No,
the
it's
village
not in the
boundary.
settlement band.
Yeah, not in the settlement.
I think unless it's about 400 yards from the community shop in either direction, it doesn't count, does it?
The settlement boundary stops at the top of Station Road.
Doesn't it go down to Silver Lake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, it stops at the end of Church Lane, I think. If I remember rightly.
So that's, well, that's the
Got
only
no
one.
correspondence this month, so we go to payments.
Before you do that, just we haven't talked about the precept. Do you want to say anything about that, Gordon?
Take it and let me run out.
Any other business? Okay.
Was there anything about the blacksmiths?
No?
No.
I think it's going to go to planning committee, isn't it?
I think it's January.
January. They don't have a planning committee meeting in
It just depends on workload, really.
Oh, right. Gordon, can you just initial there as well?
All right.
On the first two.
Are you ahead of yourself, eh?
Yeah.
Right, payment of accounts. There's a grant from the Community Development Fund for the neighbourhood plan, which is £448 in this month gone. And then there's a grant from the Community Development Fund for Neighbourhood Plan, which is for £4,032. And we've also received a VAT refund of £1,247.64p. The grant of the £4,000 odd pounds is to be spent before a certain time,
March,
which is 31st of March, and that will go quite easily because the neighbourhood plan is coming up fast, and we're holding a meeting very shortly after the new year. The invoices and money paid out. Clive Keeble, who was doing the local plan work on our behalf, on his presentation to the SBC and so on, is £474. The AET Flood Defence Limited is £223.20. This is for the bags.
The aquasacks.
Aquasacks, thank you very much for that. Henry Hall, who is the, we all know as the handyman, is £217. Linda Hoptoff, salary and overtime, you work quite a lot of hours, about 57 hours I think in the last one, which comes to £535. And travel and office expenses, which are cartridges and all the rest of it, and travel expenses, is £275.
That's including 175.20 for the neighbourhood
for the neighbourhood plan. So half of that has already gone just on printing December and all the residence houses. And HM Revenue and Customs, £57, which of course is your tax. Basically, it leaves, after taking away all those amounts, before deducting those amounts, I beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen, it's what is resting in the bank is £44,597.12. Don't forget the 12 pence, please. So that copes with the agenda side of things, I think.
Can I have a proposal in a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think we have any, do we? Did you say?
There's no correspondence.
No correspondence, no. Which leaves us on to any other business.
I have, Chairman, circulated the preset workings.
Oh, you've got a colour one. Oh, right. You could have one as well.
There are 3 sheets.
Oh, they're sheet-throughs. Oh, well. There must have been 3 sheets to the window. It's all two.
It works around that the counties that taking the neighbourhood plan in account as well, that the preset looks like something like £31,320, of which 1,423 with the SBC grant, and the preset, the balance of 29,897.
Right. So that's taking the grant away from the total of 30,000.
That's right, yes.
So we're left with 29,242 quid. There are some extraordinary pieces in here which won't reoccur, which is a tennis and the bowls club, hopefully, in the following year. Does anyone want to run through these various precepts, or are you all clear on them, or do I need to give them up for the benefit of the camera?
Is it the same figure as it was last time, wasn't it?
More or less, yeah.
So
there won't be any increase in the in your council tax, which I keep on calling rates, by the way. Terribly old-fashioned.
Round of applause will go.
Yes, that's good. Yes, thank you. Yes. Because we'll rely on your maths to get through the year each time. So thank you very much. Very good. Sorry, you want to say something?
I was just wondering, I'm not familiar with the precept, but I'm just wondering, in the precept, is there an allowance made for footpath maintenance and upkeep?
Footpaths aren't normally the parish council?
No, they're dealt with by Staffordshire Council's footpath department. We have to go to them if we want anything, repairs, or like, if we like in the dingle, we ask them to cut back the hedge over the stiles and this sort of thing, we go to them. But every year they do send out a statement saying you can bid for various things if you want various things, upgrading or new styles, new kissing gates.
So I think there are a couple of styles that could do with some attention.
They're looking at the moment at the ones near Butler's Farm, which is coming from Mill Farm, yes, Church Lane,
Yes.
along that
Yes.
way and over, because that's the ones they're looking at the moment.
And did there used to be a sty down on Green Lane? Do you know where the Green Lane bends and there are two properties on their own? And there's a right of way across the field to the back of the church.
That's right, yeah.
By the side of that gate, is there remnants of an old style there?
At the back of the
Yeah,
church?
that is the remnants of a style.
Oh,
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe that next time that comes up, it might be worth mentioning
Yeah,
for that to be repaired, reinstated.
yeah, we can make a note of that.
In general, unfortunately, if you walk on it, or you ride on it, or you drive on it, it's Staffordshire County Council. Not all the time, but most of the time.
Yeah,
And that includes stars, unfortunately. But we'll
Yeah.
try and do our best with that, so we'll mention it in the minutes.
Thank you.
We'll mention it to the powers that be in Staffordshire County Council.
Yeah, they're
I'm grateful for Linda for knowing who to approach actually half the time. That's very good.
trying to know, very.
Whether we ever get answers, of course, is another thing. But we try our best. Right, as I said before, you don't want to read out this research, or would like to
Send that to everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will go on the minutes board, with the minutes, yeah, okay. Well, I think that just about covers everything, unless you've got something else to discuss.
Yeah, there's some new
on all this.
business. Has anyone else got new business first?
No, it's not. No. Anything?
No.
Yeah, I've got another news part.
You know, you must not depend on the parish council for your food.
Have two, Paul.
No, leave me second.
I had a text message from a resident of Forestside, and if you want to read that.
Okay. This being from who? It's just a text message. We don't know who it is. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I think we're just getting this here. Right. Linda, Marchington Neighbourhood Plan number 2. I find your newsletter both of interest and importance, however it fails to mention the continuing lack of support or influence on the so-called Forestside, namely the old barracks, etc. You may not be aware that the garages area looks like Beijing, is this right? No,
Yes,
it can't be.
yes,
Beijing?
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't know we were so near. The garages area Beijing Arborfield Road is in a dangerous, degrading condition, unfit almost for purpose. The area is private, but unfortunately the owner says he doesn't own it, so I have been told it is now owned by local authorities, which is partly true. Tyson broke his ankle a few years ago on the uneven ground. Please advise future intent on the regeneration of the area, please. And this is signed by somebody called Ian Stinson, who I assume is a resident.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, this is something we've tried to look at, and the danger is
The
that...
paperwork's there. Part of
Yeah.
the garages is owned by someone called Peter Bailey, who says he doesn't own it.
Doesn't own it.
And the rest of it is owned by the Crown.
We don't want to do anything.
They won't, it's not a case of wanting to do anything. The Crown won't put money in until they say that they're not putting money into it. ESBC and Staffordshire County Council don't want to know until it's in a good condition, so it's a little bit of a catch-22 situation.
So the Crown are basically saying that they want to see it in an acceptable condition.
Well, they won't put money into
And
it.
they won't do it
took
because
over
they haven't got any money, or so they haven't.
Well,
And ESBC won't take it on because until it is done in
the
good
company
condition.
that
Is that right?
owned it went into liquidation. That's why it went to the Crown. It reverted to the Crown.
Yes, of course it did, yes, that's true.
Do you not think this isn't something the parish council can resolve with writing a letter? Do you not think that this is something that our MP should follow?
We did contact the MP when we looked at it before,
That's Andrew.
and he wrote to the Ministry of Defence, that was all that he did.
Well, just say, look, we've got a situation here. The land is owned by the Crown, I assume now. And so
Part of the garage areas is owned by this Peter Bailey, and he refuses to acknowledge ownership of it.
Nobody wants to spend any money on short sale, including the SBC.
No, he didn't send in a copy of that, would he?
No, we can send him a copy.
I didn't comment.
Yeah.
Good idea, okay.
I mean, you're in a catch-22 situation. If the SPC and Staffordshire County Council don't own the land that it's on, what is the suggestion is that I would have thought that either the County Council or ESBC adopt it. Now, the normal route for adopting a road is, or a surface is that you hand it to them in prime condition, and therefore then they would take. So, I mean, the issue is between the landowner that says he doesn't own it and the Crown, because until those issues are resolved, neither of the other two will take responsibility and have no responsibility, I would assume.
No, we met Richard Mason.
And they've got to offer it for adoption, haven't they?
Yeah.
In good condition.
So you want me to write to Andrew Griffiths and explain the situation?
Yeah.
Is it all that expensive to do this work? That they couldn't do it themselves?
We did look at it, but we felt that we started.
No, I wasn't suggesting the parish council did it. I was just wondering, just in my head, if I had this dangerous degrading area outside my garages, I might do something with other people who live there. Because they're not, mind you, there are quite a few houses that are rented out, aren't there?
There are odd ones that people actually own their little bit in front of their garage as well, I think. I think what we always thought was if there was some sort of development at Forestside, then that could be part of the Section 106 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's not. I mean, we are getting to the point now where we've got another solar park. This solar park.
But that's Morton Lane, isn't it?
It's Morton Lane, yeah. Anyway, that's something that we can't do much about. It isn't really our responsibility at the end of the day. I think it needs a bit of self-help there, I think. But I'm just wondering whether we could, if they did some self-help and there was a 106 came up, that we could say, look, you can have so much money to do it with, I don't know. But anyway, that's on to another meeting.
Right, and then this.
Ah, right. National Salary Awards. Unfortunately, none of us get anything, but the thing is that we are within the Society of Local Council Clerks Pay and Conditions, which Linda is part of, and Linda is known as an SCP22, which is always nice, isn't it? So this is cost at the moment. The hourly rate that you're receiving is £10.30.
Yeah.
And this will increase to a magnificent £10.52 per hour worked. And it's proposed that we agree to that, and I think that with such a high pay award, I think we can do, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's... Is it
backdated to a certain date as well?
No, what they've
we're coming
done
on to
this
that,
time.
actually. We're coming on to that. What I'm trying to propose is that I'm in agreement with increasing that hourly rate by 20p an hour, whatever it is. Right, let's get rid of that one. Now, the point is that the Staffordshire Parish Council Association, which has nothing to do with what I just read out, is suggesting that...
No, but it's in part of this. Part of this is this payment.
Yes,
but they've just explained how it works.
Yeah, so it's back. Yeah, okay.
So there's a being backdated.
So there's a backdated amount which covers the period between, I think, one part and another, part of the year. Is that correct? Have I got that right?
Yeah, normally they would backdate it to April, but they're doing.
So the amount of money that we're talking about would be a backdated amount of £27 in total. Have I got that right?
No.
No, because it says £27 underlined.
Yes, it does. They normally backdate it, but instead of backdating it, they now consider it a non-consolidated payment. And depending on what...
Only the civil service could say that.
Depending on what your scale you're on,
yeah,
is how much you get and when you get it.
Right.
And for the salary scale that I'm on,
yes,
it's £100, but that obviously is
It's prorated, which brings us back to the 27.
Which brings you to the 27.
So what we're proposing here, ladies and gentlemen, is that the dear lady gets a back rated thing of £27, which is what I said in the first place.
Was it worth the explanation?
I'm now glad we've got an explanation to explain where that figure came from, so that's wonderful. So that takes care of it. Those things all at once, will you? Because we would like to see a
well this Christmas.
No, I don't get it till next month.
Right, so you've all voted unanimously for that?
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Right, now what else have we got? Or anything?
That's it for me, I think.
Thank goodness. Right.
Only one thing. I went to the meeting drop-in session at the school over the
Tier 2?
Tier 2 or Tier 3.
Yeah.
I suppose really spoke to Pauline, the head teacher, and she was quite happy with the amount of money that if they have to keep to 11-year-olds, she thought they were being funded more than sufficiently. I think her only reservation was that if Oldfields becomes this super primary school, that perhaps half a dozen children that come from Uttoxeter currently from sort of De Montfort Way and this sort of side would perhaps not come to Marchington, and in fact she'd end up with less children, not more.
How odd? Because we're under sort of, we don't really have sufficient pupils, put it more correctly, because I think that the capacity is about 90.
That's really controlled by the parents.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
decide which one they want to send it to.
Well, there would be two additional years, so there would be actually more children in the school.
Eventually.
I think it would probably even itself out.
If it changes to 2 tier.
Yeah, if it does.
Not being a parent anymore, well I am a parent, but they're a bit old to go to school now, 42.
Well,
but the thing is, oh, I don't know. The thing is that the point you're raising is that the school will have less or more.
Well, when we discussed it before, we said that it would actually bolster the numbers at the primary school. In fact, it might not make a great deal of difference. But,
oh, I see. Right, okay.
The thing was, she was happy that they were going to be suitably funded for to keep children to 11.
So what they're doing really, just to put it in short, is they're going back to the old system where the child goes from primary to junior in the same school.
Well, no, they're not doing that.
They're not doing that.
No, what they're doing is they're out to a discussion with parents. That discussion now has taken place, and now they're from that discussion they will decide. If they decide to retain the 3-tier system, then there will be no further discussion. If they decide that they want to further explore the 2-tier option, then they will go out to a more formal consultation, and that is where they're at the moment. They have now collected all of their discussion. That will be presented to the member, I think Ben Adams, who will then take a decision as to whether or not he's going to move it to the next stage. But I mean, I think reading the papers and from talking to parents, I think there's quite a groundswell of opinion that wants to keep the 3-tier system.
Well, thank you for explaining that. Your point was?
Well, no,
just to report back.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I mean, given the fact that, as I said to the chap from Staffordshire County Council, given the fact that I think all the schools bar this one and JCB Academy require improvement according to the last Ofsted report, I said whatever you do, it's going to have to be better, isn't it? And of my own personal opinion, they need to do a lot better. But that's only possibly my personal opinion and personal circumstances.
I think what you'll find is that the goalposts have been moved. So the schools which were good or satisfactory that moved the goalposts. Now, some schools have been quicker to attain the new position because clearly what you do in education is push for higher standards. So I think you've got to understand the context in which schools have become unsatisfactory is because the goalposts have been moved and they've not they've not been able to catch up. I
5
don't
or
think,
6 years ago, they wanted all schools to go into academies, didn't they?
I think that's
It's a big book of Parish
it's
Council.
council.
Yes, we are going a bit deep, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's all gone dead.
Well,
Are they improving the infrastructure of schools then when they do this?
Well, they're not doing it.
They're not doing
You can't, they will have to invest anyway in the
Just
schools,
figure of something
whichever they go for, there'll be an investment because of the housing growth that will go on in Uttoxeter. So there's got to be an investment, and it's whether or not you retain the 3-tier system or you go for a 2-tier system. And that is the crux of the decision that the county council
Have to make.
will take. But I think it's a bit rough on the schools to say that, to suggest that they're poor when in reality the goalposts have moved, and they may previously have had a better
good
standard.
marks.
Good marks.
Good
So,
marks.
but there's nothing wrong in pushing for better standards in education, but what they do need is the support of their LEA and whatever to help them get there.
If it did become a 2-tier, and they're going to shut up, it would mean that there'd be a better future for a Marchington school, would it not? Because then it would be extended. Is that right, Tom? I've got that wrong.
Well, he said there may not be too much difference in the
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if we've got any more business to discuss around the table. How about you, Mr. Parks?
No, I don't think so. No.
Jeannie?
Anything about the solar park?
Solar Park? Well, there's going to be a nice little exhibition again in the village hall.
Oh, is that?
Yes.
That's the one in Morton Lane.
That's
The
the
one in
one in
Lane.
Lane.
Oh, no, the other one's on its way, I think.
Is it?
So, well, it's got planning permission. Yeah. But that one is up for examination.
Right.
Soon will be all illuminated.
Oh my goodness.
That's quite strange because they'll access that off the B515, A515.
Right, 515, yeah.
So I think it's. Is it totally in Marchington, or is it part in Marchington, part in
No,
Marchington?
It's really on the fringe though, isn't it?
It's totally in
really on the
Marchington
fringe.
It
Parish.
just sits on a peninsula.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
interesting.
it's just that little bit that sticks out. Yeah.
Yeah, good job they're not putting one over the other side of the boundary, and otherwise Draycott will be daft to it.
I was just trying to find out section 106.
Oh,
They've actually
they've
offered
actually
it.
said something at the bottom, the last paragraph. This email came in tonight.
It was that which I had in mind when we were talking about this garage thing, whether some little bit of money could go towards
But
dealing with that.
you might not like the price you get if you're in. You may end up with, if you're not careful, if you do the surface and it's not of a standard or to the quality that they won't adopt it.
Accepted
and the
by-
parish council are left with it as a liability.
Liability, yes, I
So
agree.
you've got to be a wee bit careful.
Yeah, I agree. Okay,
Once you touch it, it's your responsibility.
that's good.
Hmm.
So anything else, Jeannie? No? Richard?
Nice pie.
Nice point. You'll come again. It's nice to know. Robert?
No, nothing.
Andrew?
No.
Gordon says no, and I say no, so that's it, I think. So I'd like to close this meeting at 5 to 9, is it? Or am I looking somewhere?
It is, yeah.
Yes, 5 to 9, so 8:55. So thank you very much all for
Shall
coming.
I wash up my radio home?